أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم Salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. This is the podcast of the deen of an old woman. Okay, today I just want to look at a beautiful surah in the Quran, Surah Nas, which helps us to keep healthy thoughts, healthy mind, and to have to have well-being, a good mental health, a positive attitude towards life. And this Surah Nas will tell us how we could achieve that by seeking Allah's protection. Allah in His compassion, love and care has provided us with the intellect, and the job of the intellect to think and screen what is harmful and what is beneficial. This is the gift of life that is given to us to be enjoyed and making right choices. So what I'm saying that this intellect should be there to detect which thoughts are beneficial and which thoughts are harmful. Because in Surah Nas, Allah tells us how the shaitan does waswasa and how it makes us believe that it's our idea, it emerged from us, but it did not emerge from us. And it's waswas of the shaitan, and normally that's idea, a negative idea that leads to negativity, and it leads to our own ruin. So that's why Quran is the most important factor in our life, is the most important book, is the most important resource that Allah has given us. Allah has blessed us with His Quran, and how merciful is Lord that this Quran will direct us and show us what's right and what's wrong, so that we can make correct choices. And the Quran directs us, it sheds light on the situation we're in at any given moment. Every day we experience challenges in life, and the only way to overcome these challenges is by reading the Quran, reflecting on it, pondering, because it's a book that explains everything, absolutely everything. It's up to us to walk to the library or to a bookshelf or a bookshop or to a shelf somewhere in our house or somebody else's house, pick the Quran and read it. That's all we need to do. And inshallah, after that, Allah will provide the hadayah. But we have to take the first step first. So in this, the Surah Nas is the very last surah in the Quran. And it's really small, but wallahi, the implication and the significance and the importance of it in our life is huge, is unimaginable. Because subhanallah, it allows us to, screen out these constant negative thoughts that we are all plagued by. We all have these negative thoughts, and especially the excessive ones, it tells us how to deal with it. Because we know that if we have negative thoughts, it takes the pleasure of life away from us. And subhanallah, most of the time, when we are not following Islam, when we're not praying 5 times a day, and we're in a situation which leads us to inner thoughts, which are negative, pessimistic, disturbing thoughts. And they say that most of the addiction is generated by these thoughts. Many alcoholics tell us that they drink, or people who do substance misuse, they will tell you that they have to screen out these negative, nagging thoughts and become oblivious to it, or become numb, or, become totally, thoughtless, where they don't have any thoughts because they are unconscious, So, because when we don't check these negative thoughts, they become obsessive and repetitive, and it's very difficult for us to deal with them if we don't have the Quran and the Sunnah, how to deal with these things. Occasionally these thought patterns become so extreme that the person says that they can even hear voices. So the waswas of the shaitan is continuous, and if we obey it, if we listen to it all the time, it turns into voices. And subhanallah, even sometimes people tell us that they have have these thoughts of suicide. I mean, in a common sense way, you think, why does anybody want to take their own life? But they get so fed up with this waswasa of the shaitan. And look, Allah sent this revelation. Allah sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is the mercy to all humankind and jinn and the animals, so that we enjoy life, so we have a good life. Allah created us to be a Khalifa on this earth, to look after the earth and to enjoy it. So in this surah, Allah tells us to seek the protection from the whispering of the devil called Khannas. I think that's what the devil is. So it constantly gives us waswasa. Its job to whisper to us at every situation that we're in, anything that we're in. It's like a commentary or thoughts running into head when we're faced with a situation. And subhanallah, when we are not aware, when we don't have taqwa, and when we're not aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Allah, intervenes in our life, how Allah is with us all the time, how Allah has given us this Quran and given us this surah as a protection, then we end up in trouble. And when we're not aware of that reality, and we think that these thoughts that come into our head are our own thoughts, but they're not our own thoughts. Nobody in the right mind want to destroy themselves. Wallahi, why would anybody want to go on this road of destruction? It's waswas of the Quran. And we realize that only by following our deen, by being a proper Muslim, doing the salah and following the commandments of Allah. So the devil comes and does whispers to us, and it ruin our then the waswasa, the whisper, turns into thought, and the thought turns into intention, and intention turns into action, and then action has repercussion. It has a negative effect on us, a detrimental effect on us, and it takes the gift of life away from us. Life is a gift from Allah to be enjoyed, within the halal way of life. So, the waswasa, it uses, harmful things to us. It uses dark words, so we come in a sort of dark mood. So, the devil, this Khannas job is always to ruin every experience that we undergo, and it makes it worse by making these negative thoughts enter into our head, and that will produce a terrible outcome. For example, say if I bumped into someone and they greet me really nicely, but the devil, the waswasa, will come into my head and it says, why are they being so nice when they really hate my guts? Or they're only being pleasant to me because they want something from me. Do you know, it's always this sort of, negative thoughts or putting doubt in our mind that why is somebody being so good to me, rather than, being positive about it and being grateful and being back good to them, Look, and then it makes us into this negative human being, but nobody wants to be near us. Even we can't stand our own selves when we follow this shaitan. So this Khannas, this name of the devil, it'll whisper in our chest, so that it goes into our heart. Allah says it does waswasa in our chest, so that it wants to have access of our heart. Because, just remember, Allah created this heart so we can contemplate on the majesty and beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by looking at his signs and his names and in his creation. But the devil does not want us to do that. So its job is to corrupt our reality, how we perceive the world. And when we see harmful things, it whispers to us, oh, that's not really bad. And then we come to sort of, believe that. For instance, Allah tells us that the shaitan beautifies bad deeds. So when we do something wrong, say we dress immodestly, he'll come to you and say, oh, you're looking really good. Look in the mirror. Look how lovely you look. Yet we are degrading ourselves by showing skin, so that people only, see us as a means, as sort of for lust, not as an intellectual human being. So it's very clever. It whispers to us, and then it will say, come and do this. No one will find out. Or let's just do it. You won't be caught. Let's just do it once. And then it'll disappear. It's very clever that after whispering to us, it withdraws and disappears, and we do not detect his presence. Subhanallah. So, look at that, subhanallah, because if it remained with us, we would realize, and we run and seek Allah's protection. But it goes away again. It does waswasa and goes away. So Allah has given us this Surah Nas, Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas. The more we read it, the more we'll benefit ourselves. And especially, before we're supposed to go to sleep, we're supposed to read that. When we get up, we're supposed to read all these kulos, because, to seek Allah's protection. Because after all, Allah gave us this life. It's a gift to be enjoyed and not to be miserable. Wallahi, when I see people with so many, challenges and problems that they bring on themselves, I think to myself, why do you do that? When life can be enjoyed, it could be beautiful. But, it's up to us that we have to strive. We have to do this jihad of learning, seeking knowledge, reading the Quran, living by the Quran. And then life becomes sweet. So when we're not aware of this whispering, that then the evil things start looking attractive. So the shaitan does his waswasa, so the bad things look good and the good things look bad. It sort of, it reverses the reality. Subhanallah. And it comes to a point where we don't realize that we're doing so much wrong. And, subhanallah. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when you really go to extreme, then He will not guide those. When we boast about our sins, when we don't see the difference between right and wrong, we've been cut off from that guidance. And may Allah never make any of us like that. Subhanallah. So these negative thoughts, this waswasa that the shaitan does, that one can become so corrupt that the beginning, these negative thoughts, that you just want bad for others, and that you're not happy what others are, if others are successful or achieving something, because and subhanallah, it's quite funny when I have a wrong thought about somebody, it doesn't affect them, it affects me. So when I see somebody with a beautiful car, or I don't know, a beautiful something design, I say, look at that, how dare she get that? It doesn't make any difference to her. It's me. It's I'm the one who is going to have these negative thoughts, and then they're going to slowly multiply and grow and grow. So the main job of the devil, this khanas, is to give this waswasa, and then when we sin so much, then it's there to cut us from the mercy of Allah. And subhanallah, it makes you start sinning, commit sin after sin after sin. That subhanallah, then there come a time you think, I've done so much, Allah will never forgive me. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell my slave that if their sins were so much from the sky to the from the earth to the sky, I still will forgive. So we have to seek Allah's forgiveness at all times. So Surah Nas is very important in our lives. It keeps the shaitan away. We seek Allah's protection through that, because if we don't do that, we are unaware of the waswasa, and we ruin this life as well as life after death as well. So Allah tells us that the shaitan, it does waswasa in the chest of human being. And basically what that means, it gets into our chest and we're not aware of it. And when we're not practicing our deen, when we're not praying, then it knocks on the door. Once it gets in the fence, which is the chest cage, and it gets in, so the rib cage, it gets into the fence, then it comes to the heart, which is the house, and it knocks on the door. And if we let that in, then it starts doing waswasa. But if a person is praying 5 times a day, living a virtuous life, that they are following their deen, they're serving humanity, they're living by the statement of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So no matter how much it knocks on the door, the person will not open the door. So the knocking is ignored because Allah gives us the ability to know that the knocker, the one who knocks, is unwanted visitor. Then the devil goes away and the door of the heart is not open, and you keep that heart for Allah's sake, so Allah can reflect His names and His attributes deep into the heart, so that we are, orientated only towards goodness, and to be a true Khalifa, and to be just and live a balanced way of life. Wallahi, how beautiful is that we do not open the door to this unwanted guest. And the devil is very persistent. Don't think he'll go away. He'll keep on knocking day in and day out. It'll try using various tricks so that so we might open the door. And then soon the door is open, it rushes in, and it takes over the heart. And then, subhanallah, some of our previous scholars said that when it gets in, it decorates it with this all colours, makes it, horrible and dark, and distorts our furniture and make it our heart ugly from the inside. So our perspective to the world becomes ugly and negative. So the interior of the home or of our heart will become totally different, the way it was before when the devil didn't get in, because we decorate our own house by what we like, the colours we like, and the furniture we like. So at all times we should try to keep the devil out from our heart. So subhanallah, that's why Allah tells us in this surah again and again that don't let the devil in, and the devil is your open enemy, and that it beautifies ugly deeds for us, and it robs us of goodness of this life. In life we feel challenges, we face a lot of challenges, and the emotional storm that we have. It causes the wind and the ups and downs of life. Everybody goes through that, but subhanallah, as long as we are practicing our deen and we are on the right path and we're doing service to humanity, Allah will protect us. It's through His care and mercy that Allah can flush that devil out of our heart and return to Him, with a sound heart. Because Allah says in the Quran that, the only thing that will help us on the day of judgment when we bring a sound heart, which meaning heart that has not been contaminated by the devil, but the waswasa of the shaitan. And even if it does waswasa, we have to ask Allah's forgiveness. We have to clean our heart and subhanallah, and go back to Allah again. And Allah is always forgiving and is the most merciful and the most kind and intensely loving. Thank you.